guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Crown Eurocars in St. Pete, Florida, and guess what? We have that one big and boxy German vehicle that really has a devoted cult following. What is it? It's this vehicle right here. This is your updated, changed up, refreshed 2025 Mercedes Benz G550, better known as the G-Wagon. But before we get into this large and in charge off-road luxury SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So the G-Wagon, it goes all the way back to 1979. That's when it was used as a military vehicle. And it's funny how pop culture, you get Kanye West, you get the Kardashians, you get a bunch of other clowns driving around in this thing, and then all of a sudden it becomes, I have to have one of those types of vehicles. Now what's interesting, until the recent redesign, which really wasn't that long ago, it stuck to its roots on the interior, the exterior, and the drivetrain. But for 2025, we're gonna see probably some of the biggest changes of recent memory. But what I wanna find out is, if you're looking for that best luxury off-road SUV, do you go G-Wagon or do you go with another G? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Lexus GX 550. Let's go ahead. Let's see which way you'd spend your big money, your big cheddar, your block of cheddar, and find out if the G-Wagon is better than that Lexus. Let's go ahead and dive in. Right off the bat, you're gonna say to me, well, Joe, I don't know, it kind of looks the same. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to show you the details. Where are we finding the changes? At the front end of the business. Now, you'll notice how they have reshaped a few things, but I'm gonna tell you exactly which things have reshaped. First of all, you're still gonna have those corner lights, nicely placed with the turn signals LED. I like the way they fog out the lens, and I think that this is part of the design that's so important to the G-Wagon. This one little element really screams, hey, I'm a G-Wagon. Now, as we come down behind the brush bar, you're gonna notice that traditional round-mounted lighting effect with your LED daytime running lamp, projector beam LED headlights, and then working our way down, you don't have any functionality. What is going on here? This is all just blocked off vent. I would say just get rid of it. Get rid of this and put some nice rigid Industries LED cube lighting in there for fog lights. I think that would be a better use of that. But let me know what you feel, how you're feeling about this fake vent with the gloss black and the flat black. I'm definitely giving it a zonk. Now, as we come across the front, Steven's gonna have to get a little creative to show off the all-new grille. So you're gonna see a revised grille, still has that giant Mercedes Benz logo, the gloss black, and they even reshaped the top portion of the front fascia. What you're seeing styling-wise is what you're gonna see on the new upcoming G-Wagon full EV, the electric G-Wagon. And they made these changes specifically to cut through the air just a little bit better. And I'm okay with them doing it on the ICE version, but it's what's underneath the hood which you may not agree with. But we'll get to that in a second. Do dig this functional brush bar. Love the extra aesthetic to it. Working our way down, we do have functionality in the center with our flat black grille. You do get a forward-facing camera, very interesting placement, and there's no washer for it. So I am gonna have to zonk that. That should have a washer, especially if you're gonna do some serious off-roading. But we all know probably 99% of the people are gonna drive this, not to Moab, they're gonna drive this to Rodeo Drive. They're gonna drive this to the mall. They're gonna drive this to their kid's soccer game. That's where we're gonna find those crazy off-roaders taking their G-Wagon. Now underneath, you do get, ow, hurts my freaking knuckle, the skid plates underneath the belly of this beast for those that are gonna go take it off-road or maybe drive over a parking block. It's gonna protect your oil pan, all the inner bits, the 2-speed transfer case, even all the way back to the fuel tank. But you'll notice the amount of ground clearance. We have well over 10 inches of ground clearance. But let me know what you think about the revised bumper. So that's a new style bumper for aerodynamics, grille, and that upper portion of the nose. Now, as we rise up, hood is gonna be the same. You got your Mercedes Benz logo, so much history on this G-Wagon, nice slight bulge. And I've always liked the fact that you have those fenders that stay, and the only portion of the hood is just that raised portion. That's it. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? New wheels and tires on this G550. You're gonna notice these 20-inch wheels, gloss black, V-spoke design, good looking wheel. And then you'll also see that we have, of course, that beefed up suspension, all adaptive suspension, your upper control arm, there's your shock absorber to take that beating, whether you're going on-road or off-road. Tire size, 275 on the width, 50 series sidewall, and I'm really digging this AMG branded wheel. I think it works well with this particular paint job. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. Now, everything is painted, which is fantastic. And then as we work our way back up, you're gonna get that traditional body trim, which says, hey, I'm a G-Wagon. The other major part of the aerodynamic change for 2025 is our A-pillar. They actually reshaped it to make it more aerodynamic. And like I said, a lot of this tweaking is being done for the upcoming electrified G-Wagon. Now, probably one of my biggest zonks on this vehicle, and it still has me scratching my head, is this. No, I'm not zonking it because there's a side mirror. I'm zonking it because this is a side mirror like off a S-Class sedan. Why? Tell me it doesn't look out of place, please. It'll make me know that I'm not crazy. Because if you're saying that this looks okay, I'm gonna have to question your eyesight. You do have 360-degree cameras, which are nice, and the LED turn signals, but these mirrors need to be square shape or rectangle to fit the rest of this vehicle. Now, as we drop back, you'll notice that nice big boxy shape to it. And of course, there's a lot of other brands, Land Rover with the Defender, Ineos, and like I said, that tried and true competitor, the Lexus GX550. You're gonna have your stationary running boards, which look fantastic. A lot of ground clearance there. I still can appreciate that they got the old school door handles. So you push the lock, it opens up, and then here's my favorite part. You ready for this? That sounds like a freaking Wells Fargo safe. Love that sound. I gotta do it one more time. Just feels good. You do have, of course, that extra trim up top when it's raining so that the water doesn't just hit the glass, but you got that square rectangle shaped glass. Coming towards the rear, good size on the quarter window. Of course, this is rear-wheel drive based, and we do have the 275s all four corners. Now, as we flip it around back, I love the classic style venting that they have on the back of the cab here. You got your G550 badge, and then we have, as we kind of square it off, our wheel cover that matches. Same body color with the painted black, gives it that great look. No exposed wiper. That's another nice thing that I like, is that it's hidden behind the wheel carrier here. So they really clean it up super well. And then dropping it down to ground level as I'm sweating all over the place, you do have your recovery tow hooks. You got your full towing capability. And I like the way that they revised the bumper. The only thing is Steven, I'm gonna have you swing in. Look where they got the backup camera. That seems like in a very precarious position, like that would be easily to damage. Especially if your kids are dragging junk out of the back of their G550 or dragging all those bags from the mall that you bought all your Louis Vuitton sneaker cleats for your kids and stuff. But let me know what you think about Outback. Let's go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk power of this G550. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have your hood struts, and like I said, gone is the V8. Just like on the Lexus GX, gone was the V8. We got new power. What do we have underneath here? Now, before we talk about it, first of all, I want to show this unique German engineering. So here's your air intake, your air box for the air to feed into our new engine. Look at where they actually put the reservoir for your windshield wiper fluid in that same area. That doesn't make sense to me. I am gonna have to zonk the location, but what I'm not gonna zonk is look at the beefy, sexy strut tower brace. You can see all of our wires and tubings for that adaptive suspension, and then it's letting the cat out of the bag all by itself. You have a simple but tasteful engine cover. But you see that number? It's not an 8, it's a 6. 6 is less than 8. We have 2 less cylinders. This is a 3-liter straight 6 turbocharged, hooked up to that 48-volt hybrid system, which is an electric motor sandwiched between the engine and the transmission. This produces 443 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds flat. Top speed around 130 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 5,700 pounds. I hope you don't care about MPGs because this doesn't get many. 14 in the city, 17 on the highway, but the good news is you do get to tow up to 7,716 pounds. So very interesting the direction that they're going in. I'm glad they still have an ICE version because like I said, the next step is the electric G-Wagon. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this straight 6 turbocharged power plant and see this boxy beast roll. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 G550 from Mercedes Benz. Who would have ever known that vehicles like these would still exist in the modern era, especially when you trace it all the way back to where it began. But I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want to be like the Kardashians. I've always dreamed of having that kind of attention. And I like this G-Wagon. How much is it? Well, if you like the attention, I hope you like spending money. MSRP on this one is $175,000. Let's see what you get when you go G-Wagon to the door panels. Love the leather, all of the great diamond pleated stitching. And of course, you're gonna have your seat controls in that usual area a la carte with Mercedes. You got your 3 memory seat settings, heated seats, ventilated seats. We got the premium sound system. Love the way they got the door handle and the trim, nice bright silver, and then some carbon fiber, ambient lighting, and a door pocket, leather wrapped for plenty of room, including 4 big old bratwursts from the state of Wisconsin and extra mustard. Now going from the door panel to the dash, you got a nice leather wrapped crap panel with some of that carbon fiber trim. The aluminum trim is looking good. They always do AC vents spectacular in their vehicles. And then as you step in, you're gonna have that 12.3-inch infotainment system. Now I like the way they created a little bit of a hood wrapped in leather. The carbon fiber looks great. You're gonna have all of the usual icons, especially when it comes to info, vehicle info, consumption info, even the engine info. Let me throw it into reverse. Cameras, super clear resolution. You got your 360, and then you could zoom in wherever you want real easily as you're parking at the mall or you're doing your off-roading. And of course, the 9-speed is mounted to the steering column, the shifter for the 9-speed automatic. You got your start-stop button, and I love the way Mercedes-Benz puts the auto-stop start button right next to it, so you can hit that and turn the engine back on. Love the aluminum trim. Here's where you're going to be able to lock your differentials, front and rear, center, the whole 9 yards. This is where you can manually shift with the paddles behind the steering wheel. You just hit that and have it illuminated. Down below, you got your toggle switch controls for your AC, dual climate, which is nice. And then you got to see a gloss black, which I'm going to have to zonk. That is way too much gloss black. But one of the things that Steven really liked is this area right here with the stitching, the nice diamond pleating. This is going to protect your passenger's left knee with that fine leather. Open up the door. What do we got? Wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs, a 12-volt underneath this little trap door, 2 cup holders that are cool and heated, so that's kind of cool. You got the older style key fob, which is interesting, but I'm okay with it. It does the job just fine. I don't need a fancy key fob. Ambient lighting inside the cup holders. I mean, it's just getting stupid. You do have a touchpad and you have full buttons. So you could use the screen, the touchpad, or the switch gear. Whatever you want, they give it to you your way. Heck, if you're spending $175,000, you better have it your way. Hit the buttons. What do we have? Felt lining, a USB-C, and probably, I would say, enough room for two mad balls. And if you don't know what a mad ball is, use the Google. It was something from the 80s. I had a couple, and they're just very interesting. Check them out. Seats, the leather. I gotta thank the cows that sacrificed their lives for this leather. The stitching, bolstering. We already talked about the passenger side's electric, the driver's side's electric. And what's really kind of crazy is that you do get Alcantara everywhere, but you just have a standard size sunroof and a $175,000 G-Wagon. Kind of nutty. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a flat bottom steering wheel with the Mercedes Benz logo I want to show you. Come on. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have, of course, 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. Love the Mercedes Benz sill plate, illuminates LED. And then you do have a decent pedal box. Aluminum brake, aluminum throttle. Come on. Why are you giving me a carpeted dead pedal? That is ridiculous. Your stiletto heel is gonna rip right through that. But the seats are super comfy, as they should be. Lots of headroom, as there should be. And then the steering wheel, same story. I love the perforated leather, the smooth leather. They even do the leather on the horn button on the G-Wagon with the stitching. You got those metal paddles to go up and down the 9-speed automatic. And this is an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then, of course, you got your 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that when you go into your different modes is going to change up a little bit for you. And the modes that you have are sport, comfort, eco, and trail, and of course rock. And we can't forget sand, especially quicksand. So nice to have all those different modes. Actually, Stephen, come back in. I want to let them see the modes. Let the people see the modes. So there's the modes. You get a nice little picture of a G-Wagon. They kind of change the background and all that kind of stuff. Really nice. Just wanted to let people be able to see that. And I know Stephen always wants to flex his detail. He's always flexing. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passenger's gonna be happy you went G-Wagon. All right, guys, back seat time. This is a 2-row, not a 3-row. Now, if you go GX, you can get it as a 3-row, but if you go over trail, which is the way I would option my GX 550, that is a 2-row. Now, you do have heated seats in the back, but no ventilated seats. $175,000 and no rear ventilated seats. You do get leather everywhere, nice large pockets to where you could put some Monopoly money, because you're gonna need some of that extra money. And then you have your AC vents, just like up front. We have our digital display on our rear AC controls, 2 USB-Cs, and a 12 volt, no home charging. I'm very surprised that they don't have a home charger here. You do have it. I'm gonna have Stephen kind of back up and show you there's AC vents also in the frame rails. Seats are comfy as heck, and I got plenty of headroom. And then, of course, oh geez Louise, it's like they took a brick and wrapped it in leather. Not very soft for your armrest, but you do have 2 large cup holders, and I love the way they did this stitching. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area, because I want to see how this all new updated G550 drives. All right, guys, one of the things that definitely stays true with the G-Wagon is that it has that rear door that swings open rather than a lift back. Now, on the Lexus GX, they have switched. They have switched to a lift back, but they do it the old school way. You hit the button on that handle, and then you're gonna swing that door out, and that's gonna greet you to well over 33 cubic feet of space. You'll notice how they give you as much room as they possibly can with the boxy setup in here. You do have, of course, your cargo net for your box of Twinkies. And then those seats do a 60-40 split. Now, when you fold those seats down, you're gonna go from 38 cubic feet of space to 68 cubic feet of space, but it's the attention to detail. Look on the door here, all the leather, the diamond pleated stitching. You got your big handle to swing that big old door shut. But that's what we're gonna do, is that we're gonna shut the door and we're gonna go on throttle. But think about how tall of a TV you could put in there. You could get that 90, 100 inch just because of how high this is. And one other revision that they made for aerodynamics is, believe it or not, they reshaped this rear spoiler area, actually extended it out a little bit for extra aero. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. We don't have 8 cylinders anymore, we just have 6, but let's see how this G-Wagon goes on throttle. As we're leaving Crown Eurocars, we're inside this 2025 Mercedes G550, the G-Wagon, with the updates to the exterior, but even more important, the change to the engine that's underneath the hood. Now, right away, visibility is fantastic in this because of the amount of glass that you have on the windshield, the side mirrors, and you got a very short nose of real estate in front of you that's blocking what's in front of you. And what's nice is that it has a downward slope to it to really allow you to see what is directly in front of you. Now, what's great is that you do have more horsepower, and you are getting that 48 volt system, hybrid system, which helps allow there not to be as much turbo lag from the straight 6 turbocharged engine. There is sound being pumped in through the speaker system, nothing too obnoxious, and I kind of feel like the straight 6 sound does fit the G-Wagon, but I do know that everybody and their mother, and Kanye West, of course, all want the V8. Once you hear the V8, it's kind of hard to go the other direction, but it does sound halfway decent. But let's see what on throttle is like. You ready? On throttle, here we go. So right away, when it comes to actual performance, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds is quite substantial for this type of vehicle. I mean, we're talking about a vehicle that's almost 6,000 pounds. Still feeling very light on its feet. I guess the good news is that you actually have less weight hanging off of the front of the vehicle because the V8 is no longer there. So that's one way to look at things. And then getting to everything within the system is so easy, well within reach. Their infotainment system is very intuitive, and they have more ways of accessing the information than any other vehicle that I could think of, especially in this segment. From touchscreen to touchpad to actual knobs and buttons and switches. But let's go on throttle again, dead stop. On throttle, here we go. I tell you, it puts you back in your seat nicely. Good shifts from the 6-speed. I do have it in sport mode. Obviously, the vehicle is top heavy, so you are gonna get some body roll out of her. But because we don't have a super aggressive off-road spec tire, actually rides very smoothly and just very controllable. Good feedback coming through the wheel. Seats are supportive and comfy, and they're really doing a good job of holding my upper body in place laterally. Got nice large brakes. But I'm just very curious to hear what you guys have to say about the changes that they made to this G-Wagon, especially underneath the hood. But just like I said, getting to everything really well laid out, very familiar. And the one challenge for me, at least, is that you have a lot of gloss black. I guess most people will probably drive around like that because you're going to want to get to the cup holders. You're going to want to get to the wireless charging. But if you have it closed, not very sunny right now, thank God. I feel like the glare off that gloss black is going to be ridiculous. But all the fit and finish in here is fantastic. No creaks, no rattles, not a bunch of road noise, not a bunch of wind noise, which is great too. But I'll go ahead. You could actually switch modes right from the toggle switch here. I'm gonna go into comfort. I think most people are gonna have it set up that way for their daily driving. And you do have individual mode as well, which is good. That's where you can set up your individual preferences. But the dash has a nice layout as usual. I'm glad they gave it a bit of a hood to it, because there's just something that I don't love about just screens being exposed. It just kind of kills the style for me. But they did it right inside this G550. And the ride quality with the adaptive suspension is fan-freaking-tastic. It feels really good behind the wheel of this G-Wagon. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of the 2025 G-Wagon. We're gonna get back to Crown Eurocars and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Crown Eurocars. Definitely want to thank Michael and the rest of the team getting us one of their very first 2025 G-Wagons. With all the updates, let me know what you think. Are you going G? Which way you doing your G? G-Wagon with this G550 or Lexus GX with the GX 550? Very interesting how they have the same number following the letters. I wonder if they did that on purpose. But let me know what your thoughts are on the changes and how you would spend your money. But if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it'll be worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Gotta thank the Flood man. Flood like water. Stephen Flood, capturing all the angles of this big beast. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.